On my last video, I talked about some of the ways in which technology has reinvented or changed the classroom, but not so much in the sense of redesign the classroom, but of adding layers to the classroom. So we've made teaching better, but not necessarily different through these methods. So we talked about, for example, the idea of telecasting, virtual schooling, virtual labs, new ways of typing notes instead of writing down notes, notes sharing through Google Docs, recording lectures, ebooks and ebook readers, presentations, video, audio, satellite classes, Google Docs, all of these things which are now being wiki spaces, all of these things which are now being used to create better delivery of the information in ways which are techie ways of basically communicating the knowledge to the students. We've also talked about the way that technology has been integrating the reception end of the knowledge as well. How have students demonstrated in the past that they've learned? Through paper quizzes and paper tests and assignments, but technology is also reinventing that. A lot of the standardized testing is now done in computers. We also have people using Google Docs and things like that to do instant quizzing with instant feedback, where the students get an answer immediately as soon as they take the quiz. And so quizzing online and automatically grading those quizzes. Also the sharing of information through Google Docs, where students produce information that can actually be shared and broadcasted to websites. Creation of student content through things like wiki spaces, where Ustream and YouTube and other sites like that, or Glogster, where students actually demonstrate their learning or their own presentations. So the ways of demonstrating and absorbing knowledge both have changed because of technology, but none of that is truly reinventing the classroom. We're just basically getting something that we always did and doing it in a different way by using technology. We still have the basics of this teacher being the center of information and the students being the ones that have to prove that they've learned. Whether or not they're doing it a technological way, that is essentially the paradigm that pervades in education. Well, why reinvent the wheel, right? As you see in the picture here, it probably wouldn't work. Well, it depends. There might be something out there that works even better, like hovering, for example. Who needs to roll in a wheel if you can hover? So what am I suggesting is moving beyond the standard method of teachers communicating the information and being the source or the central focus, and moving away into a direction that's a little more Web 2.0, where the students and the teachers work together to discover the information in an environment where everybody contributes to the knowledge. And we actually don't have the teacher as the source, but the whole classroom and the whole world through the internet as a source of information. And that is the direction that we have to start going. Teaching our kids to use the tools and learn the way that the world is learning now. Now we don't only absorb information, but we're producing it. It is by working together globally that communication exchange has transformed the way we think. And if we want to be part of our kids to be part of the 21st century world in the workforce, we have to start doing that in the classroom. So before we actually talk about the uses of technology in this newly designed 2.0 version of the classroom, I just wanted to clarify the difference between software, hardware, and the Web 2.0. So software is a program or computer program that you use for a certain purpose. For example, you use Photoshop to edit images. But you couldn't do that without the hardware, which is the computer that's actually processing that software, and also the camera, which was used to take the pictures. Then Web 2.0 is a website which fulfills a purpose, in which more often than not has to do with the website both conveying information and also being open to be changed by the people themselves. So an example would be YouTube. You can learn a lot from YouTube, but you can also add to YouTube. So that's the idea of Web 2.0. So the modern classroom will involve these kinds of tools, and we're going to be talking about some of those tools in several categories that you can use in your classroom. So first of all, for this area, I call the movie, TV / social media area. It's a manifestation of the age-old audio video / talking to each other thing. You know, back in the day, we used to go to movies, we used to watch TV, we used to call each other to share information. Things have changed. Now, the way we consume media, audio and video media, and even written media, has changed. So, for example, we're going to be talking about some of the tools that you can start using in the classroom today. All right. First of all, I like the idea of vodcast or podcasts. You see the symbols for that on the top hand corner. A lot of teachers are doing, especially teachers involved in the flipped classroom design. They're recording lectures either by audio or video. Video is called podcast or vodcast. All right, and basically you put that up on either YouTube or Ustream or iTunes or a place like that, and then the kids will have then access to this information at any time they want at their fingertips in ways they can pause, go back, rewind. So that is very important, and you should look into using it. It's very good. It opens the doors to the flipped classroom, which we'll talk about in other videos. So you have the other side of that, which is using sites like Ustream, TeacherTube, YouTube, and iTunes, which are sites where media is being telecasted and where students themselves can also upgrade media. That's important too. Everything that I'm saying here applies for both teachers and students. Teachers can use these websites, and so can students, to demonstrate their knowledge. So this is something that teachers and students can work to use together to learn about the material. In the same scenario, you have photo sharing software and Web 2.0 tools like Instagram and Flickr, which are at the far end. A lot of people use these things, but there's a lot of other versions of these things. So this is just two examples. And this is where students will be able to share images. For example, let's say you're doing a lab or they do something at home to do with science and they want to post that on the website. They can go ahead and do that. I know about a social studies teacher that did a scavenge hunt around the city, and he was looking at the historical value of its city. And basically, he had the students go and do a scavenge hunt, and they would do instant picture sharing through Instagram and the first group to win was the first one to create a full collection of the pictures of the sites that were important for the scavenge hunt. I thought that was very interesting. So you can see how education can open the doors through video, audio, and image sharing. Also, another thing that has changed is the use of high quality educational videos. If you go to a website like YouTube, you will find a lot of animations and also teacher videos where the teachers are doing podcasts and things like that about any given topic. In fact, any student that wishes to learn about a certain topic, I say stop using textbooks, stop using these kind of things which are frozen in time, and start using things like that, because this is a constantly changing society that we live in, and there's more and more better videos looking it up. So if I want to learn, say, about mitosis, I can just go to Google and type mitosis and find a bunch of videos, a bunch of images, a bunch of websites that can teach me about mitosis. And so the use of these devices have also revolutionized the classroom. Google Images search helps you find a lot of diagrams. I use that all the time to create my videos. Google Video Search can actually give you access to YouTube videos, and you also have Google Site Search, where you can give you access to a lot of good information out there in the web. Why limit yourself to that which the teacher is giving you? Why not just get the topic you're supposed to learn, go out there and find information about it, compile it, put it together, create your content, share with each other. That is the way to run a classroom nowadays, and that's where we're going to try to get to. Also, textbooks. Back in the day, used to have textbooks, but now a lot of the kids have iPods and they're listening to textbooks instead of reading them. Now, I know literacy is very important and we want our kids to read, but I want them to read the hard things, and textbooks are hard, but it does help if you have the audio to go along with it. I'm not saying to take away your reading, I'm saying to add layers to the reading. Instead of having a book and paper, you can also have the ebooks, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have books and paper. I still like to go through the textbook and actually flip pages, but the advantage of being able to have a Nook and take that everywhere with all the books that I want, you can't master that. You can't carry a library with you, but you can carry a Nook with you. The same thing about music. You can't carry all your whole CD collection, but you can carry an iPod with thousands of songs. And the iPod revolution can also be used in class, because teachers have been using that to put podcasts and also audio files and also audiobooks and things like that. And so there's a lot going on with the actual media aspect of the internet that can be used in the classroom. You have here an example of my educational video about cell division, where I've been talking about cancer. Now, students can also create a lot of material to a lot of other tools. For example, Here's some websites that I encourage you to take a look at, and this is just the beginning of the tip of the iceberg. One website that's very cool is called Prezi. You can basically create presentations like PowerPoint presentations, except that you create them in a concept map format. So each little circle is one piece of the presentation, and when you click on the circles attached to that circle, you go to areas of the presentation relate to that. And so it's like a concept map in the form of a presentation. It's amazing. And ultimately, I want to convert all my presentations to Prezis when I find the time. Also, you have a website called Animoto, where kids can upload images or videos and use them to add them together into a video presentation that can be shared with each other. So that's a great tool to both teachers and students to share. Like I said, everything that I'm doing here can be done by both teachers and students. Another one is called Glockster. Now, Glockster is really cool. You know how back in the day we used to do posters? Well, you can still do the posters, but to put up in a classroom. But you can also do these posters to put them up online. So Glox is like an online poster making thing, where you can do collages and put information in a poster and then share them with each other. Very good. Another one that I like is Sumo Paint. Think Photoshop, but digital in the Web 2.0. So kids upload an image and they can change that image through Sumo Paint. Another one I like, it's very cool, and there's visions for different topics too. It's called History Pen. There's one called Science Pen as well. But basically the way it is, you find a picture that has something to do with a topic, and then you have to add a pen in that picture and then describe what's happening in that image. And then you can create a collection or a scrapbook with all of that. Can you imagine the uses of that in the social studies classroom? Very cool. So, you know, these things, Animoto, Glockster, Prezi, Sumo Paint, and History Pen are just a few examples of how students can create and teachers can create their own media content and share and both consume and produce information to share with each other and participate in the larger web creation of information that's so big.